Are you Māori enough? Do you feel like you're not Māori enough because you can't speak te reo?
Don't think you're not Māori enough just because you don't have te reo.
Man, this was a deep conversation with Rawhitiroa, content creator, famous for making other people famous. Talked about influencers, really understanding the responsibility that comes with influence and the stand that he's taken. We talked at depth about mana over money. For me, myself, I have this imposter syndrome about being Māori, about not being Māori enough, not understanding te reo, not understanding tikanga. You might not know your reo, but your reo knows you.
Yeah.
This conversation will help a lot of people. It's not about being separatist. It's about bringing more people together. And that's what this movement's about. So don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. This conversation needs to be heard by so many. Rawhitiroa. Enjoy. Rawhitiroa, did I pronounce that right, brother?
Perfect, bro.
Rawhitiroa. It's great to have you here, bro. We've only sort of met in passing, eh?
I've come to your fellas, I think it was a graduation for the Grace Foundation with you and Paps, I think.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
In Parnell?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that was a few years ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. Yeah, it was interesting in that one too, bro, because I was actually not. We were having big arguments with me and my family then, and I still showed up because they're doing such great work. Our families are, bro, but
Fun, bro.
They're doing great stuff in Grace Foundation. For those of you who don't know, do you know much about Grace Foundation?
Only a little bit, bro.
But Grace Foundation was founded by my sister and my dad. My sister, bro, was Vicky. She had all of my good traits, but none of my bad. She was the most caring person that I've ever known, and really was a big part of BBM even existing. Because there was times when I was staying in a Grace Foundation home, when I moved back, and I was, I just was fucking over not having money,
Yeah.
And I'd say to her, "Oh, fuck, sis, I'm just going to go back to this life. I can't handle being broke. I can't handle not having money to send to my kids.
Yeah.
I'll just do it for a bit, just whatever I had to do." And she said to me, and it stuck with me all the time, like, just stay with this exercise thing you're doing. And bro, I hadn't even had a boxing fight yet. There was no movement.
This was.
Yeah. And she had that faith, like she could vision. She goes, I can see something coming from it. And she always just would help me stay on the path. Then she created Grace Foundation, where she's done that, for literally thousands of others.
Yeah.
Her legacies, it's amazing. It started off where she was into homes, and she went to purchase a house, and it was a community home. And the way these things work, bro, is that the government give these people money per head. So they've crammed. There was families living in one room.
Farming, eh?
Yeah, and it broke my sister's heart, and that's how she started this. And then it became for people that are being released from prison, because she ended up going to prison. And saw that there was nowhere real for people to go, So that's why she started Grace, where people go to and get faith-based rehab, because prison's not rehab, eh? So
That's the hinak, yeah.
This government think that they can just throw people in prison and everything's going to be better. We all know it doesn't work that way.
In fact, it's the opposite.
Yeah, let's reduce gang numbers by throwing more people in prison. Prison's the biggest breeding ground for gangs. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
And even how this I've never really spoken about it publicly about my sister, like, since it happened, but even her going to prison, just this system, as we know, is just it's just against us, like from the get-go, from the time we leave the womb, my sister got in trouble. She's done the wrong thing, no doubt, with the way she was helping people to get into homes. And her and the bank manager got in trouble. The bank manager, both first-time offenders, never been in trouble with the law before. My sister and this person, never, ever. But bank manager got home detention, and my sister got 3 years prison.
Yeah.
How the fuck does that work? People go to me, what? Why? And I said, what do you think?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, you tell me what you think. But she still, I remember, man, she was like, she got sick in prison. real sick, and she ended up vomiting black bile, and they told her to sleep upright so she doesn't choke.
Yeah.
Didn't take her
Instead of going
hospital.
to hospital. Yeah.
Took them about 6 weeks to take her hospital. Then as soon as she went there, they took her stomach out, and she had 6 months to live. It's cancer. What if it had been caught earlier?
Yeah.
But even just how caring she was, bro. So the prison guards are there, and I turn up with food. And she goes,
She'll
"Dave,
share.
give some to them." I said, "Fuck them." Yeah, like, I'll throw them out the fucking window. Never mind giving them food. But she would still share, and it was amazing. We fought the system to get her out. They weren't going to release her. They said, "No, we can look after her." They put her back in prison, and she had pain medication she had to take. And then they gave her a bell to ring for when she needed pain relief. The bell didn't have a ringer in between. That's the type of shit they were doing to her, all because of who her family was and the colour of her skin.
Yeah.
It's nuts. But we fought to get her out, raise awareness around these things. But I always think, and that's why what you do with this content, it's important to raise awareness, because what about people who don't have a famous brother?
Yeah.
Hold up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think one of the biggest things that I focus on is us reclaiming our story sovereignty. Like, we're telling our story. It's not someone else telling a story about us. And I think that's one of the powerful things about like this, like social media, like, the new media, I call it, because it's not the 3 channels on TV or the 2 main newspapers or the 3 main, radio stations telling the story. We all get to tell the story now. Like, we get to share our narrative. We get to tell it from our perspective, because usually, like in the past, it was always told about us.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the exciting things is, we can show the beauty, we can show the power, we can show the connection, we can show the love, all these things that back in the day they used to say, "Oh, no, they're bad, la, la, la." But we can show that, and we can shape the narrative. And I think that was one of the exciting things with like the hīkoi. We just dive into that now.
Yeah, man.
Like, we got to shape the narrative of the hīkoi, te hīkoi mo te tiriti. We got to shape that narrative, and shaping that narrative shaped how people turned up.
Yeah.
And it shaped how, the energy and the vibe and the feeling as we move through the country. And we got to shape it in such a way that there was so much out there about what was going on that even when some of the racist newspapers try to put out these headlines about, cracking down on protesters and things like that, it just made it look stupid.
Yeah.
Because people could see plainly, clearly in front of your eyes, anywhere you look, you could see, actually, no, this is peaceful, this is loving, this is powerful, this is a affirmative, positive movement. It's not just a bunch of angry Maoris,
and you can see by the people who turned up.
Hard up. Tangata tiriti, like tangata moana, there was heaps.
Like a really diverse bunch of people.
And this whole thing of, Māori and Pacific Islanders. Hey, we all Pacific Islanders.
Yeah.
Don't know if you noticed, but the North and South Island are islands in the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah.
We're more related than people, or like, I think that's a arbitrary line that people try and use to separate us.
Yeah.
And, you could see we were all walking together. There was, all the Pacific nations, all the flags were standing alongside our rangatiratanga flag, our whakaputanga flag, and it was beautiful.
It was really, and it was peaceful. It was a really powerful thing to be a part of. We drove down like
wicked.
To
Wellington.
A couple of days prior, and it was really random because it's I didn't know, I'm just really unorganized, to be honest, and I just literally made it say, come on, I think the day before, I said, let's drive down so we can be, experience the drive, and it was cool, really amazing, and then we did it, and then I had to quickly take off because I had to go to a speech back in Taupo. So I turned up straight from the protest, but you're right about controlling the narrative, and it's one of the reasons why I got involved with the Aotearoa Square, the march from there.
Yeah.
Everyone, but it's funny because we have supporters from sort of all. I mean, I have friends on the right, on the left, in the middle, but they support the work.
Yeah.
That's what they support. So when I'm getting involved in these things with the Te Pāti Māori and I'm doing the marches and I'm on going hard and my friends from the right are saying, what are you doing? You're going to lose all of your support.
It's bad for your image,
Yeah, it's
Dave.
bad for your image. You're becoming a radical. I said, well, you didn't say this when I was having a go at Labour.
Yeah.
You know, like, where was it then? Because it's always been about speaking about what we're seeing. I'm not making things
truth,
up.
Eh?
Yeah, it's like
Truth is truth.
yeah,
And
I'm not making these things up. This is what's happening.
Yeah.
You know, but the reason why it was important to be involved with that is because, again, it's the narrative. I wanted to make sure that, because I knew by doing the one in Aotearoa that a lot of the media would come to me as the leader of that part.
Yeah.
With Donna as well and the team from Mareo Marae. But at least I could control that narrative, you know, that it's what I'm saying and the people that are reporting, we have that trust to make sure that that right message got out.
Yeah, because even, you know, we've got lists, eh?
Yeah.
The yes list and the no
Yeah,
list.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, if some journalists are hitting us up,
Yeah.
they're on the no list.
Yeah,
because
100%.
you know they're just going to twist
Yeah.
whatever you say. But then we've got others on the other side who, like, you know, okay, if I'm gonna talk to you about something, it'll be a clear or honest conversation.
Yeah.
And even if it's contrary to, you know, what the overall narrative's going to be, you know, you can kind of trust that. But again, that's all relationship based.
Yeah, 100% all relationship. And it's like, you know, like some of the reporters that we get along with, they're still going to say the other side.
They have to, yeah.
Because then it's even.
Yeah.
You know, they're not going to say they're being
Even.
biased, but they're going to put what you said in. They're not going to try and misquote you or put like some kind of bloody clickbait thing up about you, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, bro. But before we get into that, so do you want to tell us, you know, where were you born, bro? Where do you whakapapa to and what were you brought up?
Yeah, I'm a child of the north. So whakapapa to the north, Whangaroa Harbour, few marae up there. Also got Dutch whakapapa and Pākehā whakapapa. But I was born in Henderson. And,
I live in Henderson Valley now.
Yeah. And so my dad was in the Air Force. So we were living up in Hobsonville Air Base when it was still an air base.
Yeah.
And then he was working at Whenua and stuff like that. So born up here. And then we moved down to Waikato. Mum and dad separated. We moved down to Waikato and then got involved in the kura kaupapa Māori movement. Or actually, Mum was involved in it up here. When she was hapu with me, and then when I was really little, she was a teacher at Hoani Waititi, which was the first kura kaupapa. So she was a kaiako up there, and then after a while we moved down to Waikato, started up Tōku Mapihi Mauria, which is another kura kaupapa, which is down by the university now.
Yeah.
Anyway, we grew up down there. After a while we moved out to Whangaroa to be close to Nan and Koro. So grew up out there in Raglan. Couple of years in Hamilton, and then all over the place, Auckland and back down. I'm in Waikato now. That's where I wash my clothes.
Yeah,
that's where I that's where I call home.
Yeah,
but all over the motu now, doing all sorts of different kaupapa, and it's a privilege. It's a privilege to be able to get out and support these kaupapa, capture and tell the stories of what our people are doing. And it's beautiful. It's really beautiful to see all the different lanes, you know, all the different manifestations of rangatiratanga, all the different manifestations of te ao Māori, of te reo Māori, of our culture, of our practices, and sharing it, you know, with ourselves and also with the world, you know, and that's been me.
So you grew up fully immersed with te reo?
Yeah, so I was born when Mum was teaching at a kura kaupapa Māori, right? The first kura kaupapa Māori.
What a gift, bro. Did you realise it then how much of a gift it was?
Oh no. Well, hey, when we were little, that was just the world, and so Mum was a teacher there. And then when we moved to Waikato, she was a kaiako at Te Ātarangi, which is teaching adults te reo Māori. So I was one of the little brats rolling around during all their wānanga and at karakia time and waiata time and all of that sort of thing. So we just grew up in te reo Māori, and then primary school, and then we homeschooled for a bunch of years. And then it wasn't until like when I went back, and there's that period where you're what is a teenager, where it's like it's cool to be speaking English and it's not cool to speak your own language anymore, that sort of thing. But then, high school, I started, back into Te Reo Māori again, and, and that kind of progressed and, really has shaped, who I am, how I view the world. Like, I really do think, and now, like, I've travelled around the world and learning different languages, bit of Portuguese, bit of Spanish and things like that. Like, when you learn a different language, you see a different window into that world.
Yeah.
Because we all look at things from a different angle, and the language speaks to that, or the language shapes that. So definitely growing up in Te Reo Māori and in kind of like the heart of kohanga reo, kura kaupapa, ātārangi, in the heart of those movements, that that shaped who I am. And then after I left school, after I came back, it kind of shaped the world that I ended up in. So I ended up in youth development working with our rangatahi and wharekura across the country, kaupapa ko Te Rawhitiroa Bosch, and we were using like performing arts and all the performing arts as like a vehicle for youth development, but also a vehicle for like instilling, like, it's mean to be a Māori.
Yeah.
Like I remember when we were growing up, like we all just wanted to be American.
Yeah.
Like that's what you want to be. You grow up listening to Warrangy and Boys to Men, and you want to be like over there.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really like, far like mean Māori role models, mean Māori heroes. And so what we started doing with these rangatahi was we started getting the kōrero nehe, the historical stories about their rohe, about their kāinga, about their own tupuna. And then they had to like make these performances and perform whatever these stories about their tupuna. And then they started seeing like, our tupuna were mean.
Yeah.
Our tupuna were cool. And, starting to grow that pride of like, it's mean being Māori. And one of the kind of tools that we used was I pulled together a crew of tuakana. So instead of like teachers and kids, teenagers, we had a crew in between, which were the tuakana crew, which tuakana is just older brother, older sister.
Yeah.
So it was like a youth crew of mentors who were all cool as, who all had te reo Māori, who were all, had their own superpowers. And they were the crew that ran everything within this kaupapa. And so our young people, our rangatahi, were looking at this crew going, they're mean. And instead of, like, we did some things really deliberately, like when we worked with training the crew, there were some things I was real deliberate about. Like, one, don't growl kids for speaking English. Encourage them to speak Māori. It's easier to pull rather than push, right?
Wow, yeah.
So when we're at these events and these kids are all speaking Māori all the time, it's really easy to slip into English, like everywhere in the world. And these kaiako, the teachers were coming up to us going, like, what did you do with our kids? They're like, they're just doing it. They're just speaking Māori all the time. And we just pulled rather than pushed. So instead of, if we saw someone, out the back speaking English, instead of going, don't speak English, we'd be like, bro, come speak Māori. Like, it's way cooler.
Yeah.
And if you want to hang with us, then you have to speak Māori. Like, we're not gonna be interacting with you if you're speaking English. So it's a pull towards something that you want rather than pushing against something that you don't want. And I've found that's worked across the board, not just for te reo Māori, it's for everything. So that was one of the real cool things, like our crew, and they are superheroes, and they all got different superpowers. And it was really cool seeing that interaction between the rangatahi and them, and also the rangatahi looking at the super crew going, like, there's some heroes, eh? Like, there's some ones we can look up to, and they're Māori.
Yeah, it's so important, bro. We started working in prisons. We're at particular Spring Hill prison in the youth wing, all between all rangatahi, 18 up, and 100% population Māori.
Yeah.
Fuck, it broke me, bro.
By design, bro.
Yeah, it broke me, bro. I was like, holy fuck. That's why when I'm speaking to schools, and it's like I see all my people looking back at me, and it's just it's you know, it's man. And but I don't speak te reo. The stuff we run is just by instinct. It's all based on a Māori lens, te whare tapa whā. I didn't even know what te whare tapa whā was, bro, until they started talking about it to me. I said, oh, that's the way we run things.
Oh, that makes sense.
It's just instilled in us, you know. But these rangatahi, bro, they had no idea where they come from.
Yeah.
You know, and one of the things we did was just learning our pepeha.
Yeah.
Just learning our pepeha, which I was still learning myself. You know, so then like you just said, they go, wow, you know, they had a sense of belonging. And then Timmy, who's he would explain, you know, like you're saying, heroes that have come from where they come from. Because it's all about role models. A lot of these, when you think about where a lot of our rangatahi are coming from, the environments they've been raised in, where there's no role models.
Yeah. Or the
Positive
wrong kind
role
of
models.
role models. Yeah, yeah. Well,
So-
when we say wrong, yeah, just
Well,
not not positive.
growing up, like when we were growing up, for me, you know, we all wanted to have nice things.
Yeah.
And, you know, the people I saw with nice things were drug dealers and bank robbers. You know, they had everything. And so that's who these kids have to aspire to. So it's no accident. You know, you can't blame them.
No.
You know, but we've got to give them better role models.
Yeah, harder. And also, like, one of the things that we were real deliberate about in choosing, like, our tuakana crew is picking really different people.
Yeah.
Some people were extroverted, some people were introverted, some people were in the arts, some people were in business. You know, like,
Yeah.
a bunch of different things so that, you know, like the kid that responds to me might not respond to you.
Yeah.
And the kid that responds to you might not respond to me.
Yeah.
You know, but with having that kind of diversity within our crew, we could work with everyone, and the rangatahi, like, they responded, and it was wicked. And I think overall, like in my work as a photographer over the years, I don't know how many years, 14 plus years now,
Yeah.
I've been doing this sort of mahi. I've seen the difference between when I started and now, the difference in, one, we're proud to be Māori. Two, like, even just down to the kakahu that we wear. Like, before it was like Nike, Adidas, Puma, all of those, you know, again, all those American or, you know, overseas brands and stuff like that. Now when I walk around, I'm seeing people wearing their iwi t-shirts, or kaupapa t-shirts, or, you know, or Māori brands and stuff like that. Taonga, tāmoko, things like this. Like, we're having this huge resurgence. And I guess there's one of the things that, like, on reflection, I'm kind of gutted because, you know, like, getting into politics. Before this government came in, right, we were getting up on a plane. Like, you know, when you're on a boat, put on the power and you get up. And once you're on the plane, you can ease off a little bit and you'll stay on the plane, and things are really charging. And, you know, like, you look around, Māori music everywhere on the rise. Like, when I was little, we had the one CD we could play, or three. There was three, and we could play them over and over again. Now you can have like 5-hour long playlists, no repeats, all waiata Māori.
Yeah.
You know, Māori business, the Māori economy is smashing, is huge. You know, like, a whole lot of things were really starting to rise, and then, you know, this comes, and then now it's the rise of fascism, it's the rise of racism, and the emboldening of the racists. And I'm just like, man, imagine what we could be doing with our time if we weren't trying to fight that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, if we could just keep going on that trajectory, where would things be? And that, it kind of guts me a little bit. I'm like, man, I ain't got time to mess with this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like, to have to deal with this stuff. But this is where we are, so this is what we're doing now.
Yeah.
You know, but I look forward to a time where we can be on that plane again, where we can be cranking again. And also, when I look around, regardless of what the government's doing, people are not going to bend.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to break, and we're going to keep being us. And, like, every manifestation of our culture, every manifestation of being proud to be who we are, that's, you know, we're still cranking.
Yeah.
But I was just like, imagine how much more we could be cranking if we weren't wasting energy over there.
Yeah. Bro, they do my head in.
Yeah, straight up.
I was watching a video you sent me of at the hīkoi.
Yeah.
So don't forget 2 years' time, they'll all be back in our communities, promising us this and that. Just don't forget all the shit they're doing now. And, bro, they've already started coming back. I'm not just talking about the current one. They'll be back. They'll leave their run a little bit later because, that'll be next year.
Yeah.
But the other guys are coming in. But where did things go wrong, bro? Is it that, and where did things go wrong, and how can we be thriving regardless of any government?
Yeah. Or one thing I will say is, look at how the system was set up and what it was set up for. It was never set up for us. Māori, Moana Nui Akiwa, it's never set up for any of the native peoples in any country. It is set up for the ruling colonial class. So by design, it's easier for Pākehā to vote than Māori. By design, the numbers are greater. By design, all of these different things, like all these different barriers that are there for our people, aren't there on the other side. So it's by design. So don't kind of beat up on ourselves. But at the same time, that kind of puts us in a place where we have even more impetus. We have even more reason to, 1, get out and vote, 2, be active, 3, know what's going on. I think that's something that's really changed in this last couple of years. And if I think about during the hīkoi and after the hīkoi, like how many people, and I won't put my hand up because how many people had made a submission to Parliament before that? Yeah. My hand's down.
Yeah, true. Even I did one now.
300,000 for the Treaty Principles Bill.
Yeah.
130,000, I think it was, against the stupid regulatory standards bill that they're trying to push through now. Like, that is engagement on a scale that's never happened before. Like, our people are now starting to learn how to use those tools, how to pull those levers. And there's heaps more levers that we need to learn how to pull. But, starting to feel empowered that we can actually start doing that. But I still feel like, even though those are huge numbers, I still feel like that's only still a small percentage of those of us that are affected by these policies, by these racist ideologies. Yeah,
bro. Yeah, when you think about it, I remember watching something on Moana Jackson said that
the legend.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Legend.
And bro, I only like I'm no expert. I only started watching him and other leaders when all this stuff was happening. I've started to research, past activists, and our leaders of the past. And it was one thing he said, and he's so eloquent, hey?
Super, yeah.
The way he would put his message across. But what he was saying was hearty, but just the way he would say it. But he said something like along the lines of, a lot of the power the Pākehā have gotten, the colonisers have gotten, has come at the detriment to Māori.
Yeah.
It's at our expense.
And again, I'll say by design.
Yeah, so when you really start, and anyone with common sense, if you just look at these things with an open mind, you can see. It's and you're right. When you think about a lot of the people we represent, we are at grassroots. In Manukau, South Auckland, West Auckland. We're now up in Whangarei. Man, that was powerful getting out of Auckland, and scaling. It shows how much people, I always said to our group, we're so blessed here to have this.
Yeah.
Don't ever forget how blessed we are to have it, because so many people around, wherever I travel, I wish, when are you coming here? When are you coming here?
Yeah, wish we could have something like this.
It's bro, what we've created is like a marae. It's like an old school community or a village where we're together and we support each other. It's like, if you need something, we got you.
Yeah.
That's all it is, we start in Kōrero in a couple of weeks.
Wicked.
And we'll be in Hamilton soon as well. So it's pretty awesome. But, being at the grassroots, we see it's still a massive lack of engagement.
Oh, huge.
So that
even though it affects us so much,
But
I don't think people understand how much this shit affects us.
But it's like, so, we keep those messages up, and this government, they're their own worst enemies, because they're motivating more and more and more of our people daily to get out and vote next year. And it's but it's how can we get to a point where it just doesn't matter what government's in power? Hey,
How do we build that resilience? And I think you're onto it. Like community. Like community we're a communal people.
Yeah.
Te mono nui a kiwa, we are communal people. Like we don't do things for I, we do things for we.
Yeah.
And that is a power that we have. That's why we could mobilize, when the storms, when Gabriel hit and stuff like that, we mobilize.
Yeah.
When COVID hit, we mobilize. When any of these things hit, we mobilize and we look after each other. And I think that's a power that we have. But yeah, like what you're saying, and I'm real keen to hear ideas, like how do we build our resilience to a point where it doesn't matter who's in the big house, that we can do our things anyway. And I think, part of me goes, start building up our funds and stuff from outside of government funding. But then I'm like, no, that's my tax money.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I'm paying tax. We're all paying tax.
Yeah.
So that's our money. So we should be able to use it. We should be able to put it into projects. And also, I think about what you guys are doing. I think about different ropu that I've been involved in over the years. Quite often, as soon as you start getting successful, government want to, start giving you funding. But now you have to look like you're a circle.
Yeah.
Now you have to look like this square. And we want you to report, this many pages of paper for our report. And I'm like, bro, look at what he's doing. Just support what he's doing because it's working.
100%. The cool thing, and it's like, I guess I've got a funny knack, bro. I've got a funny knack of pissing off any government. So it doesn't matter which side I've pissed them off. But it's again it's cost us. We're not. If people look at us, they would assume that we're just this. We're minted. We're a massively government funded, but we're not.
Yeah.
But I always think there's no point of having a profile if you don't use it to speak up. Like, what is the point of having one if you're not going to, speak up and use it for good? That's why sometimes I say to the influencers, sometimes you have to use that. It can't always be about jokes. Sometimes use it. Use it for when there's
or say something.
Yeah, when we got when we need all of us to come together for a big hui or a big whatever march or whatever. You've got to be willing to risk losing some support for the greater good, I reckon.
Yeah, and that was something going into the hīkoi and really getting involved with Toitū Te Tiriti. That was something I was really conscious of. I was like, okay, at some point I'm going to step over that line and I'm going to be committed all the way in this, and that is going to affect my everyday business as a photographer.
Yeah.
And it has.
Yeah, talk to us about that. How has it?
It has. I'll just say it has. So like lots of the contracts and stuff that I would have had before and that were regular, as soon as, I started doing what I was doing in that space, I'm too political. Or I'm a little, oh no, we don't want to align with that sort of thing. So, but I knew this would happen before I did it.
Yeah.
And I had to think to myself, and I was like, okay, I'm going to sacrifice this stuff here to stand up for what I believe in, to do what I think is right, and to use, like you said, the influence, the ability that I've got to leverage stories and to be able to really share stories is huge. And I was like, I can contribute that to this kaupapa, and I can make an impact in a real way to this kaupapa, but I'm going to have to say goodbye to all of that.
Yeah.
If I can make the step, and I made the step, and I have, it has impacted my bottom line financially. But I made that choice and I'm down with, I'm okay with it. Yep, I'll have to find other ways to get pooped out, but I also trust that if you're going in the right place, you'll be looked after.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it does mean I do need to do a little bit more work and trying to get actual paid jobs, but the kaupapa speaks for itself, and for me, it is mana over money.
Yeah.
Like recently, I've been hit up how many times for those gambling ads.
Yeah.
You know, your audience would be perfect market for our da-da-da. And I'm like, shit.
It's
and then
crazy.
just hearing from Louis the other day
Yeah.
about, like what offer he got. And I love that he was like, well, here's the offer e te whānau, but no, because of this. And that's another example of mana over money.
Yeah.
And I think those are things that, when we get into a position of having bigger spheres of influence, social media has given us a different way of doing that. Before, you could only have influence within your community.
Yeah.
Within the people, 10Ks around you. Those are the people you would influence. And then if you were like super influential, then maybe that would spread further. But now with social media, community is such a malleable word.
Yeah.
The people that follow you, the people that support what you do can be across the country. I've got heaps of people overseas. I've got heaps of Māori who are living overseas who are sending me messages like, oh, thanks, you're making me feel connected to home.
Yeah.
But like with that Spider-Man line, with great power comes great responsibility. Like we do have a responsibility. And I'm not trying to tell other people how they need to do their shit. But for me, when I'm getting hit up for something that I know is negatively impacting our people, I don't care how much money it is. Like I'm not gonna engage in that. And it's real cool to see like people with huge influence, like Louis, making that stand as well.
Yeah.
And then us being public about that stand, so that hopefully it can just give some of our mates a little bit of a nudge to think about, oh yeah, well if you've got this influence, what are you doing with it?
Yeah.
And are you doing something that's just going to benefit you, or are you doing something that's going to benefit your people, whoever your people are?
Yeah.
Your people could be te iwi Māori, your people could be te iwi Māori and ngā iwi moana, your people could be this particular community of people that are interested in this particular thing. I don't know, I just invite our mates to just think about, why are we doing it?
Do you think like, or do you hope that, these influencers, because there's lots of them and we've had a few, like I'm friends with a few as well. We had them on our show, but there's so many. But do you think that they need to, we don't want to tell them what to do, but do you think that when it's time to take a stand, there needs to be more of them taking a stand?
Yeah.
And it's a simple share. Sometimes all you need from them.
And the power of those things. And like, I hate that term influencer, eh? And some people chuck that term at me and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
I'm a photographer. If anything, I feel okay about being #famous because I'm famous for making other people famous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like my whole profile is because I uplift other people's kaupapa, other people.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, that's okay. But yeah, it comes back to our why. And if we've got that ability to share a message and to say something, I think we should. But at the same time, like for some of these people, that's their livelihood.
Yeah.
And if they say this thing, then they get too political and then people will back off them. But I also think, like TJ Perenara, the thing that he did, the stand that he made, it's the same now with some of the bros in, say, the Warriors and stuff. Like Fish sharing something about the hīkoi is massive.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of people that are watching him. There's a whole lot of people that, trust his opinion. And if he says something about the hīkoi, mean.
Yeah.
And so, respect to him and to the others that are
he was
that are
at
doing those
BBM.
things. Wicked.
Yeah. And he came in and with Chance, just a couple of days ago, it was cool, and he came in and we did we got Timmy there. I don't know what the term is in Te Reo, like he's like our cultural leader. He keeps me culturally safe.
Yeah.
So I turn up to things and, I'm not one for protocol and all these, so he keeps me safe in that space.
Yeah.
Sometimes when he does things, that's funny, he does things at BBM. And when we did we have a huis and stuff and graduations, and he's carrying on a bit. He's going on, I said, and I'm at the back going, cut it down, bro. But he, Fish came, and it was cool because we we done I said, bro, let's get a quick mihi going, brother. And he just, boom, we went from boot camp to straight on like a pōwhiri, bro. And then did the haka and everything. And it was cool for him to experience that. He's a good guy, man.
Yeah, but it's, again, like, I'm using this influencer, people of influence.
100%.
I'm using that really widely. You're a person of influence. When you say something, people hear you.
We have to, you're right, we have to make a stand.
Yeah.
And not be afraid. Like, but I was going to events with Christopher Luxon, sitting next to his wife at national party because I was over Labour. They were doing my head in. And if they were ever going to help me, they would have done it in the last one when they had they could have done whatever they wanted.
Yeah.
And we got hardly anything from them. It was still a struggle, and I'm like real good mates with Willie Jackson. I said, bro, what's going on? And so I was crossing over.
Yeah.
I was turning up to
Changing lanes.
Yeah, I was going, oh well, you guys are fucking doing nothing for me. I'm gonna go see what's on the other side. And I turn up, and I know I'm being leveraged, but I'm trying to leverage them back. I turn up there. It's funny because I turn up to one, and the Pacifica Blues were there, like the Pacifica team. It's about 3 of them. In nationals, not many, but it's funny because I turn up there and it's like they're all real happy to see me there, and they're on stage, and Chris is on stage talking about us, and they're going to support us and blah blah blah. But then as soon as I started going, and that was a decision. I knew. Once I started going hard for Te Pāti Māori, because I believed in the stuff. I wasn't saying anything I didn't believe in.
No.
I believed in what I was saying and what the cause was. I don't agree with everything they do, but I talk about the stuff that I do believe in.
Yeah.
And that was it. It was there was no support coming from them after that.
Yeah.
But
that also makes me think, like how fickle.
Yeah,
is
bro.
that support? And is that even really support?
Yeah, that's always just after that I said, man, I'm never going to be leveraged again. Yeah. Like I'm going to, it was because, Labour did it with Jacinda. She came to us and you had the press conferences and all the stuff through COVID and nothing,
Yeah.
That's why I think we need like a movement, like what's going on with Toitu Te Tiriti, like that, with leaders throughout this thing that people can follow. But it's like when we went, the Māori king before he passed, he had the big, national hui.
Hui ko te hitanga e Tūranga Wawa.
Yes, yeah. And I spoke there, and it was amazing. There was some momentum going. And I just thought, man, like if we had some leaders throughout the country, but we're all on the same, we're all united, that our people could follow. That's what we need. We're all on the same kaupapa, but we're inclusive. Like what, and we're controlling the narrative. We're getting our message out there, unfiltered. But giving our people something to follow.
Yeah. Oh, and also it comes back to our why. Why are we doing what we do?
Yeah.
And I think why people will join on to a movement. If I think about the hīkoi, like in a population, this is 100% of the population, is this many people who would be willing to put their jobs on the line, put their health on the line, put their safety on the line. Think of Springbok Tour. Like if you were standing on their front line, you're putting all of those things at risk. There's this much of the population that would be willing to do that. Say this much of the population agrees with the stand that they're making, like say the Springbok Tour, we agree with it, but we're not willing to actually stand there on the line with them. How do we move this part of the population to actually do something?
Yeah.
So it's same with the hīkoi. Even the people that actually turned up on the hīkoi, the hundreds of thousands across the country that turned up on the hīkoi, there was still heaps more that might have been on the fence. That might have been like, a lot of our people, like, I don't want to be called an activist or a radical. Yeah, fair enough. But I, again, like, segue to controlling the narrative, we changed the terminology. You know, we weren't protesters or activists. We're activators. We're activating our communities. Like, we're enlivening our communities. These are activations, not protests.
Yeah.
It also meant, again, it's that pull, not push. Like, come towards this beautiful kaupapa of us being powerful, us being together, us being loving, connected, you know, strong, rather than against.
Yeah.
Against what the government's doing, There's a point, and, you know, I've brought up this metaphor a few times. Me and one of my mates, Kitty, we were talking about it years ago. Like, we have to have the shield here and fighting against something, against the oppression, against the, you know, like the state violence, against all of this sort of stuff. But we can't just focus 100% of our energy there, fighting over there. We have to be planting seeds at the same time. Push a little bit, plant another seed. Push a little bit, plant another seed. So what is planting seeds? Like, you know, watching the kids do kapahaka, that's planting a seed. You know, supporting them to do kapahaka. Learning te reo. You've had a career in this, and at age 50, you want to turn around and go to Takiura and learn te reo. That's planting a seed.
Yeah.
You know, taking on mataora, taking on kauwai, making that statement. There's no going back.
Yeah.
There is no going back.
I got asked.
But
and
like,
I just wasn't quite ready.
All of these things are seeds that we're planting that are growing the future that we want, not just going against what we don't want. And I think that's an important thing that we have to, like, remember. Don't all put all of our energy, 100% of our energy against what we don't want. We have to make sure we're also putting energy onto what we do want, so we can grow that for our kids. Because, man, I don't want my kids to be fighting the same fight. And my parents didn't want me to be fighting the same fight. You know, like the mahi that they did around te reo, around tikanga, like the reason that my generation has our reo is because they fought for it.
Yeah.
Had they not fought for it, we wouldn't have it. So we're not having to fight the same fight that they're fighting, but we're kind of carrying on against the same oppression that they were fighting against.
Yeah.
But, you know, they planted a bunch of seeds that we're thriving from now, so let's plant some more seeds for the next gen.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think about people who say this whole movement's just is racist in its own?
That, like, Toitu's racist? Yeah. Come see.
Yeah.
Come see.
I mean, it literally is, it is for everyone.
It's literally, come see.
Yeah.
Like, if you're sitting at home, it's like keyboard warriors. If you're at home in your dungeon being a troll, that's all you're going to see. But actually come see. If you look at anything, any of the videos or photos that we took during the hīkoi, you will see it's not a racist movement. Pākehā were actually, there were people that came all the way to Wellington. So one particular lady, she's a journalist for a newspaper. She was shooting in another region. I won't dox her. She was shooting in another region, and she was like, I've never felt more welcome and more cared for. She was only supposed to cover it in this one region, right? She ended up taking annual leave and driving all the way to Pōneke because she felt so included, because she felt so welcome. We were talking, there's videos, and that's another thing in controlling the narrative that we did. We wanted to show, well, we knew mainstream media would just say angry Maoris, angry Maoris, angry Maoris. So we wanted to show everybody that was at the movement. So me and my crew of shooters at different parts during the hīkoi, we were focusing on, profile some old people, profile some tamariki, profile some professionals, profile some students, some Pākehā, some Pacific Islanders, some Asians, some Māori. Like, we had a friend of mine, Julie, in Tamaki. She's Chinese whakapapa, speaks te reo Māori. She was interviewing her other Asian mates in te reo Māori, and they were doing videos. And I was like, it was beautiful. And they knew why they were there. They felt included. So we had people of all, like, there was South American people. I remember when we were up at Orake, when we went up to Takaparawhau, some of the people that hung around to talk to us afterwards, before we jumped to Ihumātao and then continued down to Kirikiriroa, to Waikato, They're from like Colombia and Argentina. There's like a little crew of them, and they were like, actually, we got messages. Can we bring our native people's flags to be part of your movement? You know, and they were from like somewhere Mapuche from Chile and stuff like that. We're like, of course. So to the haters, come see.
Yeah.
You know, come see it. At any hui, come see and come feel, and you'll see it's not a racist movement. It's not anti-Pākehā, it's anti-oppression.
Yeah.
It's anti-racism. And anyway, by definition, only the people in power, the Pākehā, can be racist.
Yeah. It's so true, man. And it's just having, like what you're doing with the content, it's just creating more understanding.
Yeah.
Once people see it, they understand it, they get it.
And feel it, eh?
Yeah, they feel it. As soon as you, like what we say, just walk in the doors. Once you feel it, you'll understand.
Yeah, come
You'll
see.
get it. Yeah, man.
Like anyone that's talking shit about the stuff that you fellas are doing, come see.
Yeah.
Come meet the people that we're affecting. Come meet the people that we're supporting, and ask them. You don't even have to ask me.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing. Like there are still on my social media weekly task, go through, block and delete comments from all the trolls saying all sorts of racist shit. And they're all profiles of people that have like 3 followers, got a photo of their dog or a gun or their truck, and they're just coming in just to troll.
I watched Superman, the new Superman movie with my son the other day.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was Superman. Anyway, it was not a bad movie. But they had Lex Luger. Is it Lex Luger or was that the wrestler? Lex Luger. Lex Luthor's the wrestler.
Yeah.
Lex. Well, let's just call him Lex.
Yeah.
But he had all these trolls trolling Superman.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah, and they scanned to this area that they were on. They're all monkeys.
Oh, yeah.
All these monkeys
on computers.
all these computers. They're all the trolls, you know, creating this narrative against Superman.
Yeah.
You know.
But hey, I think about those people, you know.
Yeah.
Sitting in their little cave, you know, probably not too happy about themselves.
Yeah.
So they want to start attacking someone else.
Yeah.
It's like, just sort yourself out, bro. And also, if you don't like Māori stuff, don't come on my page.
Yeah.
If you don't want to see Māori people being amazing, don't come on my page. Go and watch whatever else you want to watch. You know, like that sort of thing. They have to actually make an effort to come to these places to make these things. And it just shows up how insecure they are.
Yeah.
How shitty they feel about themselves that they need to pull someone else down. And I think at times I've gone, oh, well, I'll just leave that stuff there. And, you know, our people are hitting back at them in the comments. And I'm like, I don't want our people to even waste energy on them. Like, don't feed trolls.
Yeah.
Don't feed the trolls.
There should be a sign at the zoo. Don't feed the trolls.
Yeah. Well, it's a line that I use for social media all the time. Don't feed the trolls. Just block, delete, move on.
Yeah.
Because we could be putting so much more energy into planting the seeds.
Yeah.
You know, and to celebrating the beautiful stuff that's going on and to growing the beautiful stuff that's going on.
Yeah, like you said, like when people come see, like I went to Tasha's takutai.
Oh, yeah.
Rest in peace. Amazing lady.
Yeah.
We lost. I only saw her a couple of weeks prior to her passing. She was fine. You know, I would never have even known. You know, I knew she was sick, but I would not have.
Not how
you would not have known. If you didn't know, you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
And you know, the thing with her was she was community, and that's who we need in Parliament. You know, if we need these community people from the community.
Supposed to be representing the community where they come from, eh?
Yeah. Like, you know, they're not afraid to shake the tree, not afraid to, you know, create a storm. You know, their wires, their people, their community, that's who they're there to represent. And you can still contact them. You know, like I could contact her. You know, that's what I like about Willie as well, and the parts of Māori. And there's people in National, you know, that I can still contact and help to change things, help if I need something, you know, if it's a family with immigration, I know I can go to someone in National. Chris Pink, he's helped us before. You know, there's still good people in there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, on both sides.
On both sides.
Some people are still people in there.
Yeah, they haven't And you need those people because they haven't forgotten.
Yeah.
And they're still, that's what we lost with Takito. But I had to, bro, and I'm shy at the tikanga. All that stuff, bro, I just go into my shell. And I'm like, oh, bro, so I always go with Timmy. And we went to the service at Hoani Watiti. But
and must have got there just after me.
Yeah.
We were there, when she came on.
Yeah, we went in there with Marareo Marae and Papakura Marae and all. And I said, I'll just sit at the back.
Yeah. No,
yeah, I walk in, JT sees me. And I sat at the front, I was like, oh man, I was like, don't know any of the waiata, but it's such a beautiful feeling, even if you don't know what's going on, which I don't.
Yeah.
I know the sort of what's the protocol and what's
the broad outline,
what's happening, but I don't understand the language. I don't understand the waiata, but it was just it's a beautiful feeling.
Yeah.
And that's what people need to feel. And then anyway, so we got the welcome. Then the speeches start. They spoke. Then it's your turn. And I'm on the front seat, and the guy next to me speaks. He finishes, and I just got my head down. I'm not speaking.
Yeah.
And like to me, not just me, goes, bro, they're all looking at you. I said, no. And then Rawhiti goes, come on, Dave. I went, oh, man. But this is what I mean about if you get it, if people come to see it, you walk through the doors and see it. I can't speak to them. I got up and no one cared.
Yeah.
They accepted it. There's no one even batted an eyelid. I just spoke and I actually used Rawhiti's line, which I always use now.
Which one?
I was at Marareo Marae. I said, this, because I apologise. Look, I'm really sorry. I can't speak Māori and that. Don't worry. And I said, but there's one. I remember being at Marareo Marae and Rawhiti spoke. You might not know your reo, but your reo knows you. Yeah. And I was like, and he was like, and it's so true, eh?
Yeah.
And
well, and often it's these kind of experiences that are the door to pull people in.
Yeah.
And again, come see, come feel. Like, if like for a lot of our whānau, I know I'm Māori, I know I'm Ngāpuhi, but I don't know where from or anything like that. Well, come to Waitangi. Come and experience and come connect. Chances are you end up talking to someone who's your aunties, uncles, friends, cousins, who knows, oh, what's your last name, boy?
Yeah.
Oh, you're one of those from this marae.
Yeah.
Like that sort of thing happens all the time.
Yeah.
And we all have different entry points. We all have different start points. And like I said, like one of the things I'm so stoked about is some of my mates who are like CEO level, like they built their whole career, and they get to CEO level and then they go, you know what, I'm going to take a year off and I'm going to go and learn Te Reo Māori, which means like you have to humble yourself because you're going to go all the way to starter level.
Yeah.
To do this thing, but they're seeing the value in it. They're seeing the power in it. And you ask any of them, they'll say it's the hardest thing they've done and it's the most valuable, most precious, most amazing thing that they've done. And it's cool. It's cool seeing like some people like Kitty Nathan, like Chelsea Winstanley, like Mike Roberts and stuff like that. Those fellas who are like public faces, and people who are super, like they're at the top of their games, humbling themselves and going back and learning this thing, which then transforms their lives after that. Because, like 100% of the people I've talked to that have done it have gone, whoa, hardest thing ever, but most beautiful, most rewarding, most special thing ever. And that's where I'm like, I'm real grateful to my mum and Nan and aunties and, all of that sort of stuff for giving us that deal because we had that as a starting point.
We growing up, I grew up in Australia when my old man went away, so I was not with my mum who's Māori, Mania Puto. It's cool that I'm on the board there now, which is pretty cool.
Okay.
And but even being raised by my Samoan grandparents, they didn't teach me because they thought, what's the point?
Yeah.
So
Well, because they've been told what's the point of your culture.
Don't teach, don't teach them Samoan.
Yeah,
just speak broken English to them. Yeah. And it's crazy. I just wish, I had.
But also, like, I just want to, grab onto that. Is like, also don't feel like you can't make a contribution just because you don't have te reo.
Yeah.
Like, how many of our marae, and, this is something where people are like, are we Māori enough? Say, Kazi out the back doesn't have te reo Māori, couldn't whai kōrero if you forced him to. But every hui mate, he's there, he's, gone and hunted a pig or something and is feeding the people.
Yeah.
Like, is he not Māori because he doesn't speak te reo Māori? No. He is embodying, kei te whakatinana ia i ngā tikanga Māori, he is embodying our tikanga in his way. That's his contribution. Just like, I don't live at my kāinga. I don't live at my marae. So I'm like ahi tere tere, we call it. So ahi ka, living there, keeping the home fires burning. Ahi tere tere, coming back and forward. Ahi mātau, the fires have gone cold. You haven't gone back, all of those sorts of things. But I'm ahi tere tere, but yet I'm a trustee on my marae. I'm still helping with the wānanga that we have up there, those sorts of things. We all have different ways that we can contribute. Don't think it's just one thing. Don't think, you have to do this and it has to look like this. Find your way. Find your, you've got different skills and experience and stuff that you bring to the board for your iwi that someone else who might have te reo Māori might understand the whakapapa doesn't have. So sweet, bring what you can.
Yeah, that's what they said. Anything I've done, even the big hui, Māori King, or any different thing I've done, they said, Dave, you're not here because you can speak te reo. There's enough of us here that can speak te reo. You're here because of the work.
Not to say that you won't benefit incredibly from learning it.
Yeah.
But
it is.
Don't feel like you're not Māori enough because you don't have it, is what I'm saying.
That is such a value, because for so long, and there's so many people out there watching this, that will be thinking. Can you repeat that to the people out there who will be thinking that, watching this?
Yeah, well, don't think you're not Māori enough just because you don't have te reo. But also, at the same time, don't just think, oh, it's too hard, I don't have te reo, so I'm never going to learn. Like, man, do it. Still do it. I think that's one of the things around mataora. Like, a lot of people, when I talk to people about, is that you next? You're going to get your mataora, and quite a few of them are people who I, respect. People who I think make a massive contribution to our people, to our community, to our whānau, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, nah, I still need to learn te reo. And cool, if that's your criteria for you, if that makes you feel better, awesome. But don't feel like that's
why I didn't get it.
The be all and end all. Yeah, but I encourage you to think about that, because we all contribute in our different ways. And my tohunga, Hohua, Mohi, he's the one who did my face. One thing I've heard him say to people is like, okay, maybe don't think of it as a criteria, you need to learn Māori so you can get your mataora. How about when you get your mataora, this will be your friend, tō hoa haere ia koe akwana, this will be your friend that will support you through the hard times of learning your reo going forward. Let this be your daily reminder. Yeah, I'm going to find my reo. I'm going to awaken my reo. I'm going to, go for that.
Yeah.
So I just invite you to think about that in our whānau at home.
Yeah.
Because, we all have our different ways of embodying our culture and who we are. For me, this is something that, there is no going back. I've been saying it heaps to people like that. Pākehā whakatauki, burn the boats. If you're going up, you're going to attack this place, but you got your boats there. If you're getting a bit of a hiding, you can always run back to your boats and get away. But if your boss says, your rangatira says, nah, burn the boats, there's only one way to go. And that's something that I really feel since, before getting my mataora, but the mataora was the affirmation of that.
Yeah.
And the fact that, and again, we all do it in our different ways, but I receive mine at my marae with all my people.
Yeah.
So it's not just me wearing it for me.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm wearing it for them as a representation and as a commitment to them that, like, this is who I am and this is what I'm carrying, you know, haere ake nei.
Yeah.
And we all do it in our different ways, but that's something that I encourage our people to think about. And all our people, I don't mean just te iwi Māori or just te tautokere.
Yeah.
I mean all of our people. Think about how do we embody the values, the tikanga, the lessons handed down. How do we embody that in all our different ways and just do you?
Yeah.
Do you in your way.
Yeah.
I'd love to see you with a mataora, brother.
One day, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I've got a message from they teach it online, and he's been messaging a lot. After this, I've got to reply to him.
Do it.
Because that is one thing I want to do. Is I won't get it until I have a basic.
Yeah.
You know,
And that's cool.
Yeah.
And that's cool for you. Like,
Yeah.
like I will feel better if I've got my mataora. I will feel better if I can respond to someone when they ask me a question.
Yeah.
You know, or, you know, if I can
Yeah.
do that sort of thing.
So that's but that's been Burke, and it's like it's God's plan, I think, because he really keeps messaging me.
Yeah.
On LinkedIn and text message me, and they run and he'll do it all. You know, there's no excuse. It's free.
Yeah.
Do this online thing. So yeah,
I'll check in with you in a month.
All right, you keep
And
me on it, bro.
And I want to hear that you've responded to him.
Mean, brother. Last question I ask everyone that comes on is about your why and purpose. What's yours?
I think having grown up in a whānau where, you know, all the people I look up to have done things for the kaupapa or for, you know, for the cause, for the people. It's for something greater than us. And I think that's definitely been instilled in me. And the more that I grow and the more kaupapa I'm involved with, I can see that by contributing to something bigger than me, I also gain. We also gain. You know, my whānau also gain. So my why is, like, I do want to plant heaps of seeds so there's a bloomin' ngahere behind me when I'm gone. And I want to do it with awesome people. Yeah. Like, that's one of the things when I look around at all the people that I engage with, whānau members, friends, different kaupapa and stuff like that. I look around and I'm like inspired.
Yeah.
I'm like amped up about like, these are superheroes. I get to hang out with these guys. Like, you know, on some of the kaupapa we're on, I look around and it's the Avengers.
Yeah.
Like, far out. These are the people we get to roll with. So I feel like my why is I'm always guided. I'm always in the right place, doing the right kaupapa, and I'm going to do that for something greater than me. You know, for our people, to create a better future. But I also want to enjoy who I'm doing it with.
Yeah.
I also want to enjoy, and you know, the mahi that we're doing, and I've been really privileged to be able to enjoy that. So, yeah, there's a few whys. There's, you know, for the people, for our iwi, for my own hapu, for my own whānau, for my own iwi, taitokere whānui, Aotearoa whānui, te moana nui a kiwa, iwi taketake, you know, indigenous peoples around the world.
Yeah.
And, you know, like with all the taumahatanga, all the heavy stuff that's going on, I still want us to be able to like just look around, look side to side and see the people that are beside us and go, yeah, that's us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's us.
That's me, bro. What's one last message as we go into the election next year, which is going to come up real quick? What's your message to our people?
Ki te noho taiapa koe ka mamai o raho. If you sit on the fence, you'll get sore nuts. And get off the fence. Go out and vote.
No one likes sore nuts. Get off the fence.
Nah, I think now, I think it's a really important thing that we actually get engaged.
Yeah.
Like, one, get educated. And I don't mean go to university and get educated. I mean learn stuff. Learn how much central government affects you. Learn how much local government affects you. People think the council is just this thing over there, a bunch of old people around a table. Really, that affects your playgrounds, that affects your rates, that affects your roads, that affects your hospitals, that affects everything that you come into contact with. Start getting engaged in that. Local body are coming up first, and then we've got national elections coming up afterwards. But also, like, whoever we're voting for, hold them to account.
Yeah.
Like, if we get a swing in the government, make sure the new government is actually fixing up the things that this government's broken. You know, don't just let them get away with, oh no, that's just the status quo. Oh no, that's not one of our priorities. No, we voted you in.
Yeah.
We want you to change this. Change it. You know, so don't just think that, oh, because I swing to the other side of the pendulum, now it's going to be okay and we can relax. No.
Doesn't work that way.
No. Hold them to account and make sure, sit over their shoulder and watch until they've done the thing that needs to be done. And so I think, get involved, get activated, get engaged in what's going on and talk about it. Like, that's one of the cool things, like, since the hīkoi, you know, more and more, just even dinner time conversations or when we're catching up with mates, we're talking about this stuff.
Yeah.
And I think those in power that are used to having us lower class peasants just minding our own business or fighting against each other, I think they're getting worried that we're actually starting to, one, know how their systems work, two, get engaged in their systems, starting to move and shake those systems. And I think that's how we can make that longer lasting change, where we can set up that resilience in our communities that's not going to be dependent on which flavour, which colour gang is in Parliament at each time.
Yeah, no, you're right. They are a gang. And let's hold them to account. So, hey, brother, thank you so much, man.
No,
I appreciate you coming in. I learned a lot. That's awesome, bro. Thank you.
Wicked.
If you made it this far, thank you so much for the support. It really does mean so much to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and comment on our videos, and share this out. These stories are so inspiring, and they need to be heard by everyone. Thank you so much, team.